This morning, so I stopped at Starbucks this morning, and they added tipping at Starbucks. Did you see? I don't know how often you go to Starbucks. Oh, there goes the cake pop. Oh. Hey, you're gonna want to find that. This is a deep chair. They added tips at Starbucks.
They've always had that.
No, they haven't, I promise. And I've always felt weird because I would tip a really mean barista at a fancy coffee shop that I hate because I'm scared of them. But the Starbucks people, in my experience, every Starbucks employee they're like rental car people that work at rental car places. So nice and stoked to be there. And I'm always like, I can't tip. So I want to know, like, when I'm tipping, am I tipping Starbucks LLC.org? Or am I tipping, like when you go to
100%.
Like when you go to CVS and they say, are you a member? And you say, I don't know. And they go, well, what's your phone number? And they go, here's my phone number. And we don't have that in our system. What's your email? I don't need to be doing. Here's my email. We don't have that in our system. Do you have a backup email? I do. Here's my back. Everyone's behind you in line. You say 37 cents. Do you want to donate $1 to St. Jude's? Right. No, give me my 37 cents.
Right.
Because this $1 that you donate to St. Jude's, there's something evil afoot about that $1, and I don't remember what it is. But I think that now CVS is able to write that off as a charity donation from them. Right? Okay. Like something like that. So you're actually like, again.
You're actually benefiting the corporation.
The corporation and like St. Jude's.
But also St. Jude.
Like by some trickle down economic situation, but you're not like going to the hospital and giving it to a kid.
Right, might be better to just donate directly rather than via the
That
CVS
wouldn't really help the kid either
pad.
if you just gave them $1 as well in the hospital.
Right, but they would use it for
candy
I guess whatever.
But no, so at Starbucks, I'm curious now, like, do they get to keep that money? Because I'd rather give them cash, but like I wouldn't, there's no, I guess there's a tip
They've
jar
always
at
had
Starbucks.
tip jars.
Yeah.
So you could
But I don't have cash.
That option. I bet if you tip via, is it the thing where they kind of like turn it back to you? Is it
it's
that
just
situation?
sitting there. So if you pay with Apple Pay or something, before you pay, you tap $1, $2, $3, which lost art form. Put a dollar amount, $1, $2, $3. I don't
Instead
want
of a percentage. I agree with you.
I was somewhere the other day. I know this is like a big running joke that we do now, where it's like, they flip the iPad around and like you start at 75%. I was at one the other day where it started at 25%.
I've been seeing that too. You know what really bothers me?
And then they look at you while you're like, custom tip.
Right.
You were nice, but
I
gotta pay rent.
Right. You know what really bothers me is when you order something on Postmates and it's like a more expensive meal, but it's like the same, like, okay, you order Chipotle and you order Sugarfish.
Oh.
The driver is doing the same amount of work, but it's going to ask you to like tip a lot more on your Sugarfish because it's a more expensive meal.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be the case.
That's an interesting
That shouldn't be the case. It should be, we should be tipping based off of how far the Uber driver is driving or how heavy the meal is or the road conditions, not the price of the meal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's something I've been feeling passionate about recently.
Good for you.
And to go back to your original question of who's getting the Starbucks tips, I feel confident that they all split them at the end of the day.
I need to ask. Leave it. Let us know in the comments. I bet we have people that
totally
are a part of the Starbucks family.
I'm betting that I'm hoping that they all get to.
I'm a big Starbucks. You know that I'm like, sorry, mom and pop stores. I love Starbucks coffee. I'm convinced that there's something in it. Doesn't make me need to shit my pants, and it also just like kind of sends a rocket to my brain.
I only really like.
I feel smarter when I drink Starbucks coffee, black.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I only really like my specific Nespresso pods with my very specific creamer.
Just coffee in general?
Yeah, and then like getting at any coffee shop because I just like never know what I'm getting really.
Yeah.
Like every time I get up to the register at a coffee shop, I never know what to say. Completely blank.
I just like order a coffee.
Yeah.
Like,
no, but like that I don't know, Connor. I don't know. You know? Because it's never going to taste like my Nespresso pod with the hazelnut creamer.
I'd like to revisit the fact that they named all of the sizing the way they did. Grande, Venti, Tall.
Totally.
They were in Italy and they only got like 2 lessons into their Duolingo.
Totally.
I said, that's tall. Well, it's not.
What does venti even mean? Translated. Extra large?
Wouldn't know. Here, let's ask Siri. What does venti mean?
Because grande must be large.
Oh, yeah, good point.
20. Okay.
Oh,
Is
see,
it-
that's making sense. So why does it say tall? What does tall mean? I think I know.
What? A specific-
Large in height, large in stature, but it's not. And maybe they're kind of riddle masters
Maybe it
over
was
there.
opposite day.
Let's briefly address tall. This designation by the coffee company is considered many to be a classic instance of corporate language manipulation. Ooh, deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
Tall rhymes with small, but means something close to the opposite.
Yeah.
The result arguably encourages a consumer to think a little less about the size of her beverage as well as the size of the bill.
Did they say her beverage?
They did.
I love that.
Yeah, it's Women's History Month after all.
Hell yes.
Interestingly, the tall was not always the smallest drink size and customers requested. Oh, yeah, that's true because there's a short.
There's a shot, like an
No,
espresso shot.
I sometimes, if I just need a
I have
little.
a short today.
That's. Oh, if you go to Starbucks,
Yeah.
like if you get like a cortado, which is a drink that I.
Were you just talking about that recently?
So about 6 months ago.
Okay.
But like cortado is just those really small coffees that I like. Grande is Italian for large. Venti means 20
Right.
and Trenta means 30.
Okay.
So why isn't the 16 ounce called sedici, Italian word for 16 instead?
Right. Why?
All questions being raised by dictionary.com, by the way, doing God's work.
I think this is
Some
one of those
some
things.
intern had a bunch of free time at the end of the semester.
It's seeming to me that we don't have the answers.
They
For-
actually answered all of it.
Oh, I thought they were. Oh, can you run it back then about the tall? Why is that called tall?
Tall is a classic act of corporate manipulation, kind of like how
Is that confirmed that they were trying to manipulate us corporately?
totally they come out and said it.
Dictionary.com. You
Speaking
believe
on
that
behalf
for
of Starbucks.
100%?
Starbucks
That's why it's called tall.
Yeah, I don't have any reason to kind of like second guess dictionary.com. I have nothing against dictionary.com or its subsidiaries.
Okay.
Then what reason would we have? The dictionary is a dictionary. It's kind of fat.
I'm feeling like there must be another reason that it's called tall.
Tall rhymes with small.
It
And
doesn't,
small makes you think, oh, little tiny bill.
for whatever reason, it's just like not adding up to me.
Okay.
But that's fine.
You're just
It's not something I care enough about to like lift my phone up
yeah.
and look, you know,
Well, let's move direct, just like straightforward.
straightforward.
Because you know what they say,
The rest is still unwritten.
one touch is literally all it takes.
I agree. I do agree.
I've always said that.